What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. I hope everyone had a great weekend, but we are back with another new look rebuild, as this is officially the last week of the new look rebuilds. We've done 25 teams and the last 5 are this week. As today we'll be doing a potential contender in the Eastern Conference, as we'll be doing a new look Philadelphia 76ers rebuild. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciate it. So of course, the 76ers, they signed Paul George in free agency. After all the rumors came out about Paul George leaving LA, I wasn't sure I could believe it, but it actually happened. One thing you can say about the 76ers and Joel Embiid, it hasn't been from a lack of trying. They have added so many different players next to Embiid that it just hasn't worked out. Will Paul George be the answer? I don't know, but they have tried for sure. They had, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris at one point. They've added Al Horford at one point. Like, they have done some things to try to make things work. It just has not. They have not gotten past the second round. Does Paul George finally get them over that hump? I do like this roster a lot. We shall see. And then literally over the weekend, they signed Gershon Yabusele, so I do have him on here as well. Don't know how impactful he'll be for us, but regardless, this is kind of what we're working with when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers. So let's just go ahead and get into year number one, because this team is such a contender, I don't think I'll be doing much in year one. I think I just kind of want to see what 2K is going to think of this roster, and we'll just kind of figure out how things will go from there. So let's just load this 2025 draft class. Let's load this rotation together. Let's load the best rotation possible, and let's hope we can get a championship in year one. That'd be amazing. So proficiency does have us all the way up to 4 stars under grit and grind, with Nick Nurse being the head coach still, of course. So if we wanted to change it, let's see. So do we want to change it to anything? We could be balanced, but I guess we're on grit and grind. So I'm going to move Tyrese Maxey to point guard because I just think that's best. So we're going to move Maxey to point guard, although they have Kyle Lowry starting, which we could do in theory, but we'll see. We'll kind of see what this looks like first, because I like Maxey as a point guard, but here we go. So Maxey's your point guard. Who's that started the 2 guard then? So it'd be Eric Gordon, which is not the worst thing in the world. So it'd be Paul George, Eric Gordon, Yabusele at the power forward, which I obviously don't like as the starter. Like, yeah, he got signed, but I don't think he'll start. Joel Embiid, Oubre, Drummond, Kenyon Martin, Kyle Lowry. So I guess what you could do is you could play Oubre at the 4. Obviously, Caleb Martin's going to have a potential role at the power forward, which I think is probably where this would go anyway. And I think McCain getting minutes in year one would definitely be something that would be nice. So we're going to shrink the bench utilization down quite a bit as well. So let's do that first and foremost. So let's make sure that Yabusele isn't starting. I'm sorry, that just isn't going to happen. Caleb Martin is, in fact, listed at power forward. So I guess what we could do is literally just, switch these guys, because I don't know if Yabusele would crack the rotation. He might, but I'm not going to sit here and say he probably would, but maybe he will. We'll see. So here's your 10-minute rotation. We got to fix that again. So Yabusele for Caleb Martin. So we're going to move McCain to these minutes right here. And we'll probably run something like this. So we'll probably run that. We'll give Caleb Martin like 27 minutes with, and then give Jared McCain 10 down here. So that's what we'll do in year number one. Be Tyrese Maxey, Eric Gordon, Paul George, Caleb Martin, Joel Embiid, Kelly Oubre, Andre Drummond, Kenyon Martin, Kyle Lowry, and Jared McCain. So we'll see how year number one goes with this roster. I'm excited. I'm optimistic that we could potentially get a championship in year one, but we shall see what happens. Does our proficiency go down with what we're doing? Yes, it does. Do we go up to a balance? Yes, we do. So let's do that. Move this to a balanced system, simulate year one, and we'll see how this team does all together. Today's video is brought to you by 2 softwares designed to help you beat the sports books and become a much profitable sports bettor. We're starting on Daily Grind Fantasy's Optimizer. So if you play on those popular apps such as PrizePicks, Underdog, or any other of those DFS apps and are struggling and just, plugging and playing your own plays, your own opinions, maybe getting a tool like this could be insanely clutch for you. So basically what it does, it compares discrepancies across multiple sports books, and it gives you profitable plays over the long term. So as you can see, there's a bunch of fantasy scores right now on pitchers, but usually I like to go towards like actual stats. So as you can see on this Oakland Athletics versus Tampa Bay Rays game, the under no run first inning is heavily being favored. We found that play within 2 seconds just like that. So that's why I absolutely love this tool. It just finds you profitable plays insanely quickly. There's not a ton of good value on the board unless fantasy scores are your thing. I don't play them sometimes, but like I said, I usually like to stick to traditional stats, which is like, no run first inning, strikeouts, and stuff like that. And then if you want to go ahead and check out OddsJam's positive UV tool as well, this also is a really clutch tool, but it focuses on traditional sports books such as FanDuel, BetMGM, Fanatics, as you can see. So we do have some value on the board here at like Jonathan Cannon over 4.5 strikeouts. As you can see, you get your best possible price. Now, this is a heavy underdog still, but as an EV play, this is something that could still hit over the long term. So as you can see, If we wanted to play Cannon over 4.5 strikeouts, it would make no sense to go to, rebet or sleeper, for instance, and plug this at plus 110. We can get it at plus 135. Same thing. If we go to like, I don't know, do we have like a favorite on here? So Florida State versus Georgia Tech, because college football is coming up this weekend. Under 56.5. Best possible price is on Fanatics. As you can see, minus 126, minus 125. It's literally that simple. You're just getting the best price. It's like if you're shopping for anything, you're going to go buy it at the cheapest place possible. And last but certainly not least, make sure to check out Prize Picks. Links down in the description below. They've been running crazy amount of promos. I wonder if, yeah, they have another promo. They've been running a lot of soccer promos, and they've all been hitting, which has been nice. So if you want to go and check out Prize Picks, link is down in the description below. They have all kinds of sports to choose from. You guys have probably heard of Prize Picks at this point. As you can see, I think Ellie got bumped. As you can see, over 7.5. He is no longer 7.5. That is why this tool is insanely clutch, because this is gone now. Well, he clearly got bumped. So even though fantasy scores aren't my favorite to play, as you can see, there is a ton of value there. But check out Prize Picks. Use code Crushables to match first pods $1 for $1 up to $100. And last but certainly not least, I did lie to you. One more thing. I had my best freaking day ever on Friday using these tools, by the way. So hit one on Prize Picks for 200. Hit one on Dabble for another 120. I hit one on Parlay Play, their home run promo. I don't know if they'll be running it anymore, but got another 100 there. And then on FanDuel, another 129. I made $500 in profit that day. Absolutely insane day. It was my best day ever sports betting. Actually insane. So make sure to check out all these tools. Links are down in the description below. Use code Crushables for a percentage off on the softwares, and then use code Crushables for your first deposit matched on Prize Picks. On that, let's get back to the video. At the end of year one, Luka wins MVP like usual. There's no really surprise there. That usually is what happened. But here's your All-NBA first team, All-NBA second with Joel Embiid making it, All-NBA third team, so no Maxey or anything like that. Would have been cool to see him. But we are the second team in the Eastern Conference. So, of course, I think the three teams to watch out for in the East this year are going to be, Boston, New York, and Philadelphia. Now, I should include like Milwaukee in there as well, because I hope Damian Lillard is like fully ready to go this season. Not going to be out of shape and is going to be his former self, but we'll see. Maybe that's just the optimistic side of me. We'll see what happens. But 24 from Maxey, 24 and 13 from Joel Embiid, and 20 from Paul George, 13 from Oubre, 8.5 and 10 from Drummond, and then 7 from Eric Gordon. There definitely some things I would love to upgrade going forward if possible, but let's just see how these playoffs go. So we are going to go to a 9-man rotation, and they are going to keep the starting 5 the same, which is good because I really didn't want to change things out. So kind of sucks to leave McCain on the rotation, but I do believe Lowry would probably be the guy you'd want to play just because of the playoff experience. So we'll see what happens. Somebody current round against Detroit. Now, I do worry about losing to Detroit in year one, just something, or in the first round, because I just feel like that's something that could easily happen right now. But we'll see. And we do lose game 1, but we are going to beat them in 5. So no upset there in round 1, which is fantastic. And now we get Milwaukee, which is a team that obviously is going to be threatening as well. They added Gary Trent Jr. this offseason. This is going to be a tough team. I think we'll definitely have a work cut out for us here. It'll be interesting to see if we can get out of round 1 or round 2 finally. Somebody current round against Milwaukee, and we are finally getting out of round 2. And we don't have to deal with New York or Boston, which is kind of crazy. Instead, we get Indiana. So Indiana usually gives me problems in 2K as well. So it's not like we got an easy matchup here by any means, but I don't know. I feel like in real life, I think Philadelphia would be happy to be playing Indiana over Boston or New York, but we're down 3-1 as I'm saying that, so maybe that is not the case. So they do want to put Yabusele in. I mean, that's just not something that's going to fix anything. So let's see if we can come back from 3-1, though. We finally made it to the East Conference Finals, but Indiana had other plans as far as us making it to the actual finals. And we are going to win this one, which is nice. So we win that one. Now we got to see if we win Game 6 to force a Game 7. So let's see what happens here. So it's going to be a close game. This is in Indiana. If we can win this one, we're going to a Game 7 in Philly in front of those Philadelphia fans. So we got to steal this one away. It's a close one, but they are going to beat us. Damn. Okay, so year 1, we don't get a championship. Indiana instead is the team that beats us. They lose to the Mavericks in 5. Disappointing, I will say for sure. Kyle Lowry's going to hang it up. And I think we'll easily be back. We just need to upgrade a couple positions. Like Eric Gordon as our starting shooting guard. Don't really want that to be the case anymore. But Hawks got #1 via the Lakers, which is wild. Nick Nurse, we're going to keep him around. So I just got to fill out this coaching staff, and then we're going to figure out how we're going to upgrade this roster going from here, because this team is on the cusp of being fantastic. I think we have a lot of good bench pieces with, Jared McCain, Oubre is still great, Kenyon Martin. Like, we could work with those guys, but we need to figure out how we plug the shooting guard spot better and maybe the power forward spot better. So I didn't realize Oubre and Drummond would both be free agents, but it does give me the ability to re-sign Oubre, which is clutch. I probably should have just started Oubre at shooting guard. I don't know why I didn't think to do that, so that's my fault. But I'm going to go ahead and sign him, and I'm also going to re-sign Drummond as well. I want to keep both of them around. So we're going to keep both of them to be bench pieces on this team. I think they're both heavily needed. Honestly, we probably will start Oubre at shooting guard. I should have done that last year. I don't know why I didn't. But yeah, so Oubre will start the shooting guard more than likely. We move Caleb Martin to small forward, or yeah, to backup small forward, because I like him there. Oubre can start the shooting guard, or Paul George can start there. It doesn't matter. One of those guys can start. So Adem Bona, should have sent him to the G League, but hopefully he just progresses alone. And then Embiid and Drummond I still like as a rotation. So basically at this point, we just need to upgrade the power forward spot. And I think Kenny Martin's contract is going to be how we do that. Now, it's only worth $8 million, so it's not like we have a crazy salary to trade away. But maybe we could find a way to get a good power forward that's making less than $8 million or something. I don't know if we'll find that, but we are sure going to try. We do have the Clippers pick still. We could hang on to it. I mean, when is this Clippers pick again? So we have 2026, so that's literally next year. We have our own as well. But yeah, still have these Clippers picks that I think would be probably in our best interest to try to maybe upgrade a little bit. So we could also include Caleb Martin's salary in there as well, and get up to $60 million. So maybe we do that. But I definitely want to try to trade for a really good power forward to add to this roster to make us more threatening as a conference or team in this Eastern Conference. So looking at through all of our options, there's a couple guys I like the idea of. So first one would be like Sadiq Bey. He's in Washington. He's making not that much money. He's on an insanely good contract, only making $6 million. So we could easily trade for him. And he could probably be a really good player at that power forward spot for us or wherever we decided to play him. And then I also kind of like the idea of Patrick Williams, who, of course, is insanely good and would be really close to the salary as well. I don't know if Chicago would let him go, but I think that would be the ideal target just because of how good he is from 3 and 2K. So I'm going to assume we get Patrick Williams on this roster. So I'm going to offer Kenyon Martin to start things off here. We are going to have to include Caleb Martin's contract, which kind of sucks, but I think sacrificing a little bit of depth to get Patrick Williams in this building would be kind of, worth it. So I think we could, trade a couple seconds as well. I don't know if Patrick Williams would be worth a first-round pick. He could be in theory, but maybe we're just helping Chicago get off his contract. So what do they say to this? They agree. So just like that, fairly easy, they say yes. But I think Patrick Williams is a really good get for this team. So again, that sacrifices a little bit of depth. So Oubre is going to absolutely play that starting shooting guard spot. And now we just need to sign probably a backup power forward or a backup 2 guard. So we could probably do a little bit of both there. So power forwards, we could sign not a ton of good options. Like Lyles is great, I guess. Caruso, if he didn't regress so damn much, I would like him as well. Sam Merrill's a shooter off the bench. You got Gary Harris as a guy that, could be interesting. Hunter Sally is kind of fun being here. You know what? He might progress, so we're going to actually sign Hunter Sally. Why not? So Hunter Sally, welcome. And then power forwards, let's see what else we got. Covington used to play in Philadelphia a long time ago. Gallinari, yeah, after that, it's kind of wishy-washy. Not a ton of good options here, to be honest with you. So that might be all we roll with. So our depth is going to be a little shot, but that's just kind of the sacrifice we take with what we got going on right now. So I'm okay with it. So it's going to be the same rotation, basically, other than Oubre is going to be that backup or starting shooting guard. Now, the one thing I'm really hoping is that Adem Bona goes up. And he does go up to a 75. Maybe we have to move him to small forward. He might go up even more because that would be clutch if he did. And no, that's the opposite of what happens. Damn. Okay, so we'll leave him at power forward, but he is going to play this year. And then Oubre, like I said, and Ricky Council, I guess, might crack the rotation a little bit this year as well, which would be fun. So we can move Paul George or Oubre to shooting guard, but I'll probably do it with Oubre. So let's just get into year 2. So at the end of year number 2, Luka Doncic wins MVP again. Hugo's your rookie of the year. Nicola's your 6th man, Wemby defensive player. Dillingham most improved, and Anthony Edwards your clutch player, and Jason Kidd is your coach of the year, and Jordan Hobson is your executive. So all around really solid. Do we get Joel Embiid on an all-NBA team again? It doesn't look like we got him this time, which is kind of interesting. Here's all offensive first team and all defensive second team. Another really solid season out of us as we end up as a 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. We had the 1st seed at one point, but looks like we lost it at some point as well. 22 from Maxey, 21 from Embiid, 19 from Paul George, 14 from McCain, 12 from Oubre, 8 from Drummond, 7.5 from Hunter, 7 from Patrick Williams, and 5 from Adem Bona. So all that's looking good. But it is time to get in these playoffs. We're going to run a 9-man rotation. That's going to leave Ricky Council out of the rotation, which I think is fine. So where did Hunter Sally... Is Hunter Sally starting? Wow, interesting. They want to start him over Oubre, which I find very interesting. Okay, well, I guess that's fine. I guess we could do that. I guess we found a little bit of a gem, maybe. But all right, let's see. We get Orlando round 1. So we got to the conference finals last year. We'll have to see if we can do that again. So again, they want to start Mr. Hunter Sally. So let's go ahead. Make current round against Orlando, and we were down 2-0 at one point, but now we have forced a game 5, so now they want to fix things up, so we'll guess we can do that. So game 5 in Philadelphia, so let's see if we can come out here and win this one and take it a huge advantage in this game 5. It's going to be a close game. We won it. That feels great, and we are going to win game 5. Okay, 33 for Maxi, and now we're going to win game 6 and close them out. I don't want to have to go to a game 7, to be honest with you, but it looks like that could be the case, unless we take the lead here at the very end. It's gonna be, yep, game 7. So game 7, not really what I wanted to happen, but here we go anyway. So game 7 against a really young, hungry Orlando roster. Can we come out here and take them home in game 7 at home in Philadelphia? Let's do it. We got the lead right now. Just don't blow this thing, and we are going to the second round. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, I had to sneeze there, but now we get the Indiana Pacers. So this team is the one that beat us last year, so hopefully we can return the favor and beat them this time around. I feel like our roster is geared up and ready to go this time. So many come around against Indiana, and nope, I was dead wrong. Indiana, for some reason, is our problem today. I don't know why that's the case. Usually it's not Indiana that gives me all these problems, but it definitely is. They just swept us, bro. Like, literally did not even bat an eye towards us. They just beat us that easily, and it's been Mavericks and Pacers 2 years in a row. The Mavericks owning the Pacers, bro. Okay. Well, that sucked. That was a little disappointing, but we're back to square one once again. So Atlanta is going to get number 1 back-to-back years, so they're going to get better, I would imagine. I mean, they probably just added Cooper Flag and now Cameron Boozer, I think, right? As long as they played their cards right. No, they didn't draft Cooper Flag. Who did they draft at number... Is it Hugo number 1? Wow, you guys are kind of insane, not gonna lie. Well, I wonder what they'll do this year. So, I mean, do we fire Nick Nurse after back-to-back years of losing to Indiana and go for somebody else? I don't know. We could in theory, but I think he's still a really good coach. So, I'm gonna bring him back, even though for whatever reason things aren't working. Maybe we can get like a good assistant to come here. So maybe like Willie Green would sign an assistant head coaching job to come here. So we're gonna get Willie Green to be our assistant. I like that a lot. Just make sure he gets no offers. I don't think he would in the same season we get him. All right, so we do have a draft pick though, I think. I just thought about that, and it looks like it's going to be 23 and 25. So we have 23 and 25. So we are going to try to make something happen with 23 and 25. I don't know if there's much we can do because now we have a ton of salary to trade. We could trade Drummond, I guess, but I do like him as our backup 5. Hunter should develop. Jared McCain should develop. So like we do have some young guys developing, but I think it's probably in our best interest to try to hit on these picks at 24 and 25 or whatever it was. We have David Castillo and Drake Powell. I'm going to take Drake Powell here with this one. So North Carolina, and then Mary Miller goes. And I think I'm going to go ahead and take, let's take Caleb Wilson. So let's take those two guys in Philadelphia, welcome them in. 75 and 74, not too shabby. Player options, McCain, we're accepting. Qualifying offers. Adem Bona and Ricky Council are both free agents. Both guys I do have interest in bringing back, but they don't give us the ability to sign them with bird rights right now. All right, well, I mean, Jared McCain, Maxey, Hunter Sally, Drake Powell, we just signed. So we could probably move one of these guys to small forward to be good right away. Caleb Wilson, we can maybe do the same thing with. We're going to Adem Bona back. So does Caleb Wilson go up? He does not. Does Drake Powell go up at small forward? He does. So he could actually play the backup small forward right away, it looks like. So we're going to insert him right away into the rotation. And then we'll probably just resign, Adem Bona and Ricky Council, and that will be our offseason. So not an eventful offseason. We're about to go into year 3 at this point. We did extend Joel Embiid, but I think at one point, I mean, the goal is to win a championship with, this big 3 that we have right now. And I feel like we have the roster to do it. It's just we got to get past Indiana. Like, if we get past Indiana, I feel like the rest could be taken care of. But we'll have to see, man. So McCain is up. Paul George, I made sure his regression didn't go down because Paul George regresses insanely crazily. I thought Hunter would go up even more, but I was wrong there, I guess, unfortunately. But we're going to year 3. Pretty much the same roster. We're going to hope and pray that this time we don't match up against Indiana and maybe we avoid them altogether. And if we avoid them, I feel like we could beat anybody. But Indiana's been the problem so far. Another MVP award for Luka Doncic. Cameron Boozer went to the Warriors, so it looks like the Hawks back-to-back years didn't take the consensus #1 dude. So I'm kind of curious to see who they took. But Embiid is back in All-NBA second team, which is great. All-defensive team, all-defensive second team. So the Hawks took AJ instead, which I guess isn't the worst thing in the world. But very interesting for the Atlanta Hawks decisions as far as the draft is concerned. But we are actually, that is 3 years in a row where they're picking #1 technically. That's kind of crazy because obviously got Risha Shea. They get, you know, Hugo, and then now they get AJ. So very interesting. But we end up as the second seed in the Eastern Conference. Indiana is the first seed. So, you know, I guess I hope that maybe someone upsets them, but we still have to clear our own path. But here were your player stats. So this is year number 3 at this point. Now, I will say, if we fail this year, then some significant changes are going to have to happen. Like, I don't know what we're going to do, but do we, like, split up Paul George, Maxey, and Embiid and say this just doesn't work? I hope we don't have to face that. McCain is up to an 82 overall. Drake Powell has been playing right away. Adembone has been playing, so we'll see what happens, man. We had Detroit in round 1, which is a team that could easily upset us here. They got Paulo Banchero in Detroit. They added him next to Cade. And Detroit's usually a team that gives me problems as we keep going in the video, sometimes right away. So, low-key, I would not be shocked if they beat us here. So, hopefully that's not the case, but we're down 3-1. And it looks like that might actually be the case, and that might be reality in round number 1, is Detroit with getting Paulo Banchero next to Cade. We could be running into a huge issue here. And we are going to get... Oh, nope, not yet. Never mind. We win Game 5 by just a smidge margin. Okay, so let's see if we can come out here and win Game 6 and force a Game 7. It doesn't look like it. It looks like we're going to basically roll over and die here as Detroit's going to beat us. So, man, that's tough. That's really tough because then now it's clear that this just isn't working at this point. So we got 2 years left. Indiana finally got beat by Milwaukee, so maybe this would have been the year to do it. But, you know, this has been a weird video so far. So the Thunder go on to win the championship. All right, well... what do I do now? Because I only got 2 years left of this rebuild, and we've not been able to have playoff success. Well, we got to the conference finals and got to the second round, but then we get eliminated in round 1 like that. So, clearly something is not working. So, the Clippers are going to have their pick this year. I think it's next year where we have their pick, I think, maybe, potentially. I don't know. But we don't have a first-round pick in this draft. We do have a lot of young talent, which is nice, around the roster we have currently. I like Nick Nurse, and usually I think at this point you probably just fire the guy based off how things are going right now, but I can't just say it's all his fault. It's just clearly something is not working, and I think I've done my very best to make this roster work, and it just isn't the case. So do I split this up? Do I split this roster up? That's like where I'm at. Do I split the roster up? I might have to. I mean, like, do I just keep running it back and hoping for different results? I've done that before, and I could do it again, but I don't know. So let's go to draft night. I don't think we got a pick at all, but we have a good coaching staff, which is nice. No first round pick here. So nothing like that. Just go straight to player options and let's figure out what we're doing here. Player options, McCain, we're going to accept. Qualifying offers, a lot of good, really young players that we're going to re-sign all of them. Okay. So for free agency, Drummond, I think we let him go. Bono, of course, we're going to re-sign. So I got to make the executive decision. Do we trade Embiid and Paul George? Because clearly something isn't working. Maybe we trade Paul George. Like maybe in the last year of his deal, we trade him away and try to refigure the roster a little bit. Embiid we could keep since he's a 98 overall. Like you really can't ever replace that usually in 2K. So I think unless we got like a crazy return. So I gotta see what Paul George would even get us low key. I don't really want to trade him, but I feel like we gotta try to do something different. So Middleton and Melton, Lonzo and DeSumo, Zubac, Okongwu and Fred VanVleet, Hero, Miles and Jalen Williams. Lauri Markkanen is interesting, but why would Utah want Paul George? Unless we offered them first-round picks and got Lauri Markkanen, but I don't know. Alex Costanza, who was drafted at pick 7 in the 2027 draft class, I guess is interesting. This would be his rookie season, right? Yeah, so I don't know. Do we want a rookie? I don't know if that's really the best decision. Murray and Trey Murphy, Jalen Duren, Quickly and Jaden. Interesting as well. Şengün, Stephon Castle, Carly Towns, Jamal Murray, Zeke Bay, and Trey Mann. I just don't love any of the offers. Like, I just can't comfortably sit here and say I like any of these offers and think this would be the way. I mean, if we're trading Paul George, we're basically giving up on a championship, I think. Do we just run it back for another season? Because, like, I don't know if there's a return that we're going to get for Paul George that leads us to a championship this season. If we're keeping Embiid, we got to keep going for championships. I mean, we guess we could say that this is the last year. And I don't know, but then that would only give me a 1-year window of trying to fix things. It's tough for sure. Not really sure what the best way to do things here is, but I think the best possible scenario is trying to make it work. Maybe we upgrade somewhere. Like maybe we move on from Drummond and get a different center. Backup 5, I guess. But we are going to sign a Dembona back, which is nice. Ricky Council we might as well bring back as well. So we're going to bring these guys back for salary purposes. Maybe we bring back Drummond for salary purposes as well and upgrade the center position at the deadline. I don't know. And do we do that? I mean, can we get a different backup center right now in theory? I don't think we even really have the money to do that. We could trade. I don't know. Yeah, so I think we were literally just stuck with signing Drummond. So I guess right now we are basically bringing back the same roster, but we are going to... and then Hunter should be back on his qualifying offer, I think. But we're going to try to make a trade at the deadline. I think that's kind of where I'm at with this at this point. Like, I think that's the best way to do things. We're about to get into year 4. And the team has been good in the regular season every single time. We have a bunch of young guys that keep developing, which is great as well. But we got to upgrade the backup 5. And we're going to have to hope that in year number 4, last potential season with these 3 guys, is we finally get that ring. And I just don't know if that will happen, but we're going to hope that ends up being the case. So as promised, I'm trying to upgrade the backup center spot, and I'm going for Isaiah Hartenstein on the Pelicans. He's making very similar money to Drummond, so we're going to offer a couple seconds. They disagree to it right away. Offer another second. I'm going to just try to get Hartenstein because I think he'd be a really good get for this team. A 2029 protected for Hartenstein would really suck, but they're starting to say no basically to everything. So this second's pretty valuable, or one of them was. The Nuggets second, looks like. So the Nuggets second, and then my 2029 Philadelphia pick. They don't agree, but if I throw in a couple of seconds, they probably will end up agreeing to this. There's a lot to give up for Hartenstein, bro. Come on, just give me Hartenstein already. That was ridiculous. So we get Hartenstein. I want to try to win a championship. So yeah, I give up a lot there, but at this point, I don't even care. I'm trying to get a championship. This is our last chance, and we needed a really good backup 5, and I think Hartenstein does that for us. So will that lead to a championship? I hope so, because we just, kind of went all in. But at this point, I'm all in. That's where I'm at. The chips are pushed in the center of the table, and we are going to get this championship. It's the last thing I do. I don't even need to show you wins MVP because you guys already know who it was, of course, but we end up as a 6 seed in the East, and look at that. We get the Indiana Pacers. Okay, so 25 from B, 21 from Maxey, 19 from Paul George, 15 from McCain, 13 from Oubre, 10 from Patrick Williams, and 8 from Drake Powell. So at this point, are we about to go just get bounced by Indiana? We probably will. But you know what? We're going to go give our best efforts and finally see if we can beat them. So Indiana, giving us problems throughout this whole entire video so far. Do we finally get rid of them is the question. We shall see. Somebody current round against Indiana. And we are going to win game 1. And we are in an even series with them. So it looks like we're giving up a little bit of a fight here. But let's see if we can win this game 5 in Indiana. We got to win this one. If we lose this one, we probably could kiss our chances goodbye. We have a lead right now, and as long as we don't blow this, we are going to have an advantage. Okay, so 26-22 from Embiid. All right, so we got to win this one at home in Game 6, and we're going to the second round and finally beat the Pacers. Bro, please don't blow this. Just take care of them. It's looking good right now. And I think we finally have beaten this damn team, and it looks like we have. Okay, finally have beaten the freaking Indiana Pacers, but now we draw either the Hawks or the Hornets. I mean, both of them are probably good at this point. It is going to be Atlanta, of course, has been drafting #1 overall back-to-back years. They got all 3 of their #1 overall picks and Dyson Daniels, so no more Trae Young. Pretty interesting. So it's kind of a funky-looking raw. Not really funky. It's actually a pretty good one. So AJ and Hugo, Dyson Daniels all doing their thing. So actually a pretty fun team. Very lengthy roster. 6'8", 6'6", 6'5". I mean, this is a very good team. Like, a bunch of length and size on this Hawks roster with Fed VanVleet off the bench, Jake LaRavia. But hopefully we could beat them. So game 1, we're going to go up 1-0. Good start. Game 2, 2-0. So far, so good. And we might sweep them. Do we beat them in 5? No. We're going to allow them to come back from 3-0 because that's what 2K loves to do to me. All right, so they want to start McCain. Game 6, just please don't allow them to force a game 7 after being up 3-0 because I might have to end the video short if that's the case. And it's going to be a close one. It looks like we... Okay. No need to fear. It's not going to happen. We're not going to blow the 3-0 lead in the second round. That's not going to happen. Surely it's not going to happen to us, right? There's no way. There's no way that will be the case. There's no way that will be the case, bro. Please do not blow a 3-0 lead. Oh my gosh, bro. Okay, we got out of there by a sliver, but you know what? I'll take it. And now we get Toronto, Milwaukee. It is going to be Toronto. So I think Toronto made it to the finals last year. They have Jacoby Walter up to an 81, RJ Barnes, Robert Williams, Gritty Dick. I mean, I feel like we could beat this team. I mean, I was more intimidated by the last roster than the one I'm looking at right now, but guess we'll see. So game 1 goes to us. Game 2 goes to us. Game 3 2-1. Don't let them even it up. 3-1. Beat them in 5, please. Nope. It's never going to be this smooth. Okay. So they want to put Oubre back in the starting 5. Let's see if we can close this out in 6 and not force the game, not let them force a game 7. We might be going to a game 7 again, unless we take the lead back at the end, which we are going to have the lead, and we are going to the finals. Okay, so first time in the finals, and of course it's against the Thunder. Who else would it not be? So Oklahoma City, you got VJ Edgecombe, Lou Dort, J-Dub, Chet, Nikola, Koa, Kilo, Ware, and Avicic. So, I mean, this is a damn good Thunder team. We got our work cut out for us here. Are we going to beat them? I don't know. So game 1 goes to them. Game 2, they're up 2-0, and Paul George's former squad, we have evened it up. Okay. If we win this game 5, we could be off and running. We have forced a game 6 at the very least, and we are going to win game 5. We were down 2-0, and if we close them out in 6 in Philly, we have finally won a championship in this video. Let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can do it. All right, so it's looking good right now, and I think we might have done it finally. We might have finally done it. Okay, we finally did it. So after getting Harski at the deadline, we went all in, and we finally got a damn championship for Embiid and the 76ers. You know, honestly, that's probably a great way to end the video right there, because this team is probably going to be checked out after this. I don't think we're winning a championship in year 5. But since this is a 5-year rebuild, and every single rebuild I've done has been 5 years, I will run it back for one last season, but I'm not really expecting much the final season. I'm just glad we got the championship there. A little bit of a crazy run there. We almost blew a 3-0 lead at one point, it looked like. I just got to make sure Willie Green doesn't get poached from us, and we got, we're going to decline everything. So, yeah. So, we're going to keep all this the same. And we might have a good draft pick from the Clippers I just thought about, so that could be huge as well. Did we load a 2020 draft class? Yes, we did. Okay. So let's see what that ends up being. So 2020, are we? No, yeah. So 2028 draft class. We have number 8 overall. So I'm going to let the assistant GM take whoever they want, though. So Contavious Bryant, welcome. And then Drake Powell and Caleb Wilson. And then, yeah. So pretty much we're going to just resign everybody, run it back. Wow. $61 million for Paul George is kind of crazy. But since I just want to run it back for one more year, and we're going to keep him around, maybe we get him one more championship, we'll do it. So resign everybody. Hopefully Hunter is back as well, and we'll run it for this final season coming up. So, hey, Luka finally did get the MVP award, but we went from championship to the worst possible team in the playoff bracket, that being a play-in team. So, yeah, I was kind of expecting weird results like that. 24.5 from Embiid, 20 from Paul George. I think Paul George being 38 years old probably doesn't help. I mean, we'll see if we get him. We get Miami. We'll simcast this one and see if we can get into the playoffs. I would love to. So, Miami. We got ourselves a little bit of a close game here. If we lose here, we go home. So hopefully we are able to beat them, and we are going to beat them by 16. That's all fantastic. Now we go to the second leg, and now we get Orlando. That doesn't have Paul Banchero anymore. So who do they have? So Sasser, Isaac, Wendell Carter, Anthony Black, Trey Johnson. Okay. Well, here goes nothing. Can we finally get in? No, I guess not finally, but can we get out of the play-in and into the playoffs for this final season to give ourselves a little bit of an interesting run here? And it doesn't look like that will be the case. So we go from a championship, which is why I felt like last year would probably been the best way to end the video. But I wanted to, you know, continue the 5 seasons we've been doing in every video as Detroit makes it, and it's going to be Thunder going on to win the championship. So you know what? I could be glad we at least got Embiid a ring today and the 76ers. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see y'all in the next one. This is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.